Okay, are you ready for another talking video? I know I am. And technically, this would be a sequel to a subject that I have talked about a lot over the last year and a half. And in 2024, I did make a video called Saying No. And here is the sequel to Saying No with more points to it and a longer title. As you can see, the long title is Saying No Out of Love for Everyone's Good and Not Saying Yes all the time. And I know that when we say no to somebody in certain situations, it's not what everybody wants to hear, but there are definitely times when we need to say no because we are saying no to a sinful idea and we do not want to get hurt from a sinful idea. We don't want someone else to get hurt by a sinful idea. We care about our own safety and the safety of other people. And also, everyone should learn about healthy boundaries. We don't want people to walk all over us. And I'm sure you've heard that saying, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. And with certain things that we may want, it may be good in the end that we did not get it. But yeah, people need to learn healthy boundaries. And we don't want people to take advantage of us. And also, like I said, saying no and, hey, putting a stop to a bad idea can really save someone's life for their safety and prevent legal issues. I talked about this very recently, how in the TV show Full House, Stephanie was about to go out with her friend Gia and the two boys who were driving in a crazy way. And Stephanie survived the first crazy car trip with Gia and those two boys. But DJ had a strong feeling that this could lead to really big consequences for Stephanie. So DJ said, "No, Stephanie, I'm not letting you go." And DJ came very close to telling her dad what was going on. And Stephanie stayed home after DJ intervened, after DJ said no, and she put a stop to a bad idea. And we know what happened in that episode. Gia and the two boys went out, and they were driving in that crazy way. And there was a car accident that night. And thank goodness that DJ said no to Stephanie's bad idea of going along with the crazy crowd and riding in a car that was being driven in a crazy way. And yeah, DJ saved Stephanie's life. And hey, when we think about other situations, we do not want to be dragged into something where someone else could get into legal trouble and we could also get into legal trouble. Say that you are hanging with some people and they say to you around Halloween, let's go out in a car and let's go steal a number of pumpkins and then throw them and let's go pumpkin smashing. Well, the right thing to do would be saying, no, that is a terrible idea. You really should not do that. And no, I am not going to come along. But if you said yes to that idea, then you would have a few people who are going along with a really bad idea of vandalism and stealing and causing destruction, and other people in that group could get in trouble, and you as well could get in trouble. You know, we do not want to say yes all the time, because we do not want to say yes to a really bad situation, a really bad idea that could end up in legal trouble or harm for yourself. We do not want to say yes to temptations and things that could really complicate your own life. And yeah, I mean, we want to say no because we want to keep our lives and the lives of other people in a good and peaceful, easy spot, away from legal trouble and away from things that can really make lives become complicated. And yeah, we say no out of love. We say no out of love, just like DJ was saying no out of love to keep her sister safe. You know, DJ did not want Stephanie to get hurt in that car that was being driven by those two boys driving it in a crazy way. DJ was not being a jerk by saying no. She was saying no out of love. And I hope that you can remember that. I'm aware that people out there may not want to hear the word no. There are people out there who may try to guilt trip you, and there are people out there who think, well, I think my way or the highway, and if you say no to me, well, maybe you're too uncool for me. And there are also people out there who do not respect differences. But that's why we want to choose our company very carefully. And I am very glad that with the people that I know, I am aware that there are some people in my life who will drink a glass of beer, but there are some people that I know to this day who respect the difference with me, and they know that I do not want to drink or smoke or go too far in a romantic relationship before marriage. And yeah, I am very glad that I have a lot of company now who is willing to respect me, even if we have some differences with our lifestyles and our viewpoints. And then, of course, there are some people that I have in my life who are on the same exact page as me. And we all know when to say yes and also when to say no. And yeah, like I have mentioned earlier, people need to learn that there should be healthy boundaries in relationships, as in with all the people that we interact with, all the relationships we have. And also, when I think about it, and with the notes that I have here, we definitely want to say no, because there will be questions that are thrown at us, different questions over time from a number of people. And, if we were to say yes to every single question and to every single idea that is presented to us, then we would run into contradiction, and we would say something that is not true about ourselves. We would end up saying something false and contradictory. For example, with the list of questions I have here, are you a Christian? Do you go to church and care about God and Christianity? Yes. And then the opposite question, are you an atheist? Do you stay away from church and not care about God and Christianity? Yes. And do you see the problem with saying yes to both of those questions? There is a contradiction there. And the same thing can be said with some other questions, like, are you into cleaner music? Do you like any older music from 30, 40 years ago, or even older music than that? Yes. And then the opposite question, are you into the filthy music? Do you only like the newer, currently trending music? Yes. And again, running into contradiction there, because someone has said yes to a couple of different things there, questions that mean different things. And also, are you into living a pure, godly lifestyle? Yes. And then if you're ever at a dance, do you want to dance in a disgusting way? Yes. Again, running into contradiction there. But I know for me, when I think of all these questions, are you a Christian? Do you go to church and care about God and Christianity? Yes, I do. And if someone is ever asking me, are you an atheist? Do you stay away from church and not care about God and Christianity? No. No. I am not an atheist, and I am not someone who doesn't care. But rather, I do care about my faith in God and living for God. But no, I am not an atheist. No, I am not someone who doesn't care about the faith. And also, are you into cleaner music? Do you like any older music, even if it's music that is considered outdated and from all of those older people? Yes, I really do like that older music. And if anyone is asking me, are you into the filthy music? Do you only like the newer, currently trending music? No, I don't. No, I am not only into what is current and trendy and all of that filthy music with all of the cuss words in it. I am not. I am not into that music. No. And also with that one other set of questions. Are you into living a pure, godly lifestyle? Yes, I am. And then, if I was ever at a dance again, if someone was asking me, do you want to go dance with some girl in a disgusting way? No. No, I don't. I do not want to dance with someone in a disgusting way. No, I don't. I would only want to dance with someone in a way that is appropriate. And also, preferably, I would like to find a dance out there with appropriate music. But do you see the point I'm making when I bring up all these questions? There are definitely times when we need to say no, so we can stand up for what we believe in, and also we need to stand up for ourselves so we do not fall into contradicting ourselves, and we do not want to fall into a bad idea. And also, when I think of saying no, I think about how that can make people think. I cannot walk all over this person because they are strong enough to say no. I cannot take advantage of them. And we have seen it, and I know a story of someone who should have said no to a relative-in-law, because this relative-in-law was taking advantage of my quote-unquote grandma in North Carolina, and he was asking for money over the phone from 2014 to 2019. And this guy, who was in his 70s, we found out that with the money that he was receiving through a number of checks in the mail from my grandma, this guy was not spending my grandma's money on the bills that he needed to catch up on, but rather he was spending a good amount of that money on playing the stock market unsuccessfully on the computer. And then when this guy became a widower, he met some lady from the Philippines over the computer, and he wanted to send money to her. And yeah, it was taking money from my grandma and not using it in the way that was needed for this man's bills, but rather this guy could see that my grandma is kind of a soft touch, and she can fall into saying yes kind of easily. And what happened from 2014 to 2019, my grandma kept a record of all the money that she sent to this relative-in-law. And it ended up in a total of $32,000. $32,000. Now that is serious money there. And while my quote-unquote grandma did not lose everything that she had, still, that is a lot of money. And we do not want to be taken advantage of, especially those of us who have a lot of money. And we stay sober all the time, and we have a car, and we are kind. And yeah, I stress the importance of being kind and honest and self-controlled. But I also stress the point of saying no when it's necessary, because we don't want people to take advantage of us, and we do not want to say yes to sinful ideas. And, well, we also do not want to support any kind of situation that might be sinful. When I think of other examples in my life and times when I did say no, I think of someone that I have known for 20 years now, or close to 25 years now. And in 2014, this guy was living in a house with his girlfriend, cohabitating, unmarried, which was wrong. And this guy was also living with his younger sister and her boyfriend, cohabitating, unmarried. So 4 people living in that kind of situation, and they had blown their money on other things in the past, and they knew that I had money, and they were asking me for $900 once. But I told them no. And thankfully, what happened after that, the couples moved out of that house, and I don't think they are all together anymore. But that's a good thing, I think. But yeah, I mean, it was a situation that was wrong, and a good amount of that money would have been spent on more beer and more cigarettes. And, I do not want to support a situation that is wrong, and you don't want to support a situation that's wrong as well. And if there is anyone that you know who is a bum and they are trying to rely off of you all the time for money, then you need to encourage them to get a job and manage their money in a smart way and not blow it on things that they don't need. Because we don't want people to just start relying on us all the time, because that's not how it works, and that's not healthy. And also, in another situation, I did not want to support someone's very unhealthy habit of drinking beer. I know one time with this guy that I have known for exactly 20 years now, he was spending his money on stuff that he did not need, and he was tapped out one night, and while he was getting into another Wednesday night of bowling, he did ask me, "Can you buy me a bucket of beer?" And I told him no. Because I'm not going to support a very unhealthy habit that can take years off of your life, and also it is dangerous to throw the heavy bowling balls while you are drunk. You only want to be bowling in a sober way. And so I said no to this guy who wanted money for beer while he was bowling. And he was upset with me. But I think right after that moment, he started to realize that I was standing up for myself even more, and that kind of question stopped after that moment. And yeah, I could go on and on and on about other examples that I remember in my life where I have said no. I've had customers once or twice at the gate in Lakeside who have wanted to stay all night within town here during the ticket season. And instead of doing the right thing by purchasing a 1-day ticket to stay overnight, one or two people have requested from me, can you write me a free 30-minute drop-off pickup pass so I can stay in town overnight? But I have told them no. And I did not say that to be a jerk, but I said it out of love. Because what can happen if I were to say yes to that idea? What would happen is that customer would get in trouble, and also I would get in trouble. And I don't want that for any customer, and I don't want that for myself. And you don't want that for yourself either. We definitely need to be strong and confident in saying no. And here I am. I know I've talked for about a half hour now, but it really is important, the topic of saying no. Because we all have to establish healthy boundaries, and we do not want to contradict ourselves, and we cannot always get what we want. And yeah, we have to remember when to say no. And as I wrap up this video, let me just mention that some people may accept your answer when they hear you say no, and then other people may try to guilt trip you. They may try to guilt trip you over the phone or the internet. And if it's on the phone or the internet, you can always just not reply. Do not reply. And I've talked about this and being careful with our words. Just let that person get over it, and maybe over time, after you have said no, that person may reconsider their ways and eventually look back and say, I am glad that person said no, because I was going down a bad road, but that person intervened and they were strong enough to say no, and that really helped me to reconsider my life and my habits. But yeah, if it's on the phone or the internet and someone is guilt tripping you, don't let it get to you. And if you are in a situation where you say no in person, if you are in a case where you can get out of someone's presence or get out of the building or get out of the house, then yeah, get away. Get away. And don't let any guilt trip tempt you into thinking, oh, this person is really sad or angry now. Maybe I should reconsider. Okay? Don't let any guilt trip from someone tempt you into thinking, oh, maybe I should reconsider. Because like I've said, there are people out there who only want things from you, and it's for their own selfish desires. There are people out there who want to get you into saying something that is against your beliefs. There are people out there who only want money from you all the time, or car rides from you all the time. And there are people out there who want to go too far in a romantic relationship with you for their own selfish desires. And people face temptations, but that's why we want to say no to the sinful stuff. And if there are some people who no longer want to speak to you after you say no, that may just be a good thing. Because, bad company corrupts good character. And I have talked about that before. And don't take everyone to be your friend. Because some people only want to be around you so they can take advantage of you. But we don't want to be taken advantage of. We want good, healthy relationships. And I hope that you can find good, godly people who are among your circles of friends and family members. I hope that you can find good, godly company with all your relationships and your significant other relationship. And yeah, someday it would be so great to say yes to getting an ice cream cone and looking at the water and sharing some great stories and making more good memories together. But also, throughout the journey of life, we need to remember when to say no. And it's not because we are being a jerk, but we are saying no out of love for certain situations. Okay? For people's safety and to prevent legal issues. And so we can stand up for our beliefs and we do not fall into things that only complicate our life. And yeah, we need to remember when to say no and not say yes all the time. And I hope that I have been able to express this point in a way that is understandable throughout this long talking video. I think this is definitely the longest talking video that I have made outside of reviewing music. But yeah, this has been on my mind lately. And once again, I hope that all of this has made sense. And I hope that this video can always stay on YouTube and you can find the time whenever you can find it to watch this video again. And so as always, stay well, remember when to say no, and I will see you all later for more videos here on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you.